Hey, all right. We are live. This is our second. Looky here. Welcome, everybody. Welcome, world. We are on our second Freelance Friday. We're going to just have some fun today. As you can tell, my normal audience, this way. There's an normal audience. I now have my man-made audience, as I exposed yesterday, if you guys weren't here. I felt lonely over here. I had to have some audience. These guys just want to sleep all the time. So anyway, welcome to episode 2 of Freelance Friday. And if you don't know what Freelance Friday is, it's a way for us, our regular viewers, listeners on podcasts. Well, first, let me say, you're probably saying, why are you talking so softly? We have the twins today, and the wife's in the other room. If you notice, the door's closed, and I don't want to. One of them's upstairs asleep, and the other one's being a little stinker. You may hear him every once in a while. He was great when he got here this morning. All of a sudden, for whatever reason, he just said, "Hey, I'm going to just start making some noise." So you may hear him every once in a while. Of course, the wife's with him. No fear there. I have Nina right here. She's always got to be right wherever I am. I'm grateful for that. She's our gray cat. You've seen her in the episodes messing around behind me. Below is our grandpuppy who came with the 2 grandbabies. And the grandbabies are 7 months old. I'll show you pictures someday, but I don't have them today. So I'm trying to be quiet so that if they hear my voice, they tend to perk up and where's grandpa? So I'm trying to let them go to sleep. Well, Gavin's the one that's awake. So anyway, that's the reason why I'm kind of quiet. I'm talking softly. So you got to bear with me. If you need to, turn your speakers up or your phone up, whatever the case may be. Anyway, what is Freelance Fridays? Look, it's just, Monday through Thursday, we're kind of focused on what? Giving you great information that you can utilize right away in your business. We always say, hey, we want you to make 2020 your best year ever. All right. And that's true. So we try to give you information that we know will have an impact on your business if you start utilizing it right away. Okay. And that's Monday through Thursday. And that can kind of get bogged down. You need a break. You need a refresher. I need a refresher. You need to have a little bit of fun. And so, on Freelance Fridays, it's exactly what it is. We're going to talk about all kinds of topics. And we are going to talk some network marketing topics. I made me a little list today. And I'm going to address some of the things on that list. And let me just do something real quick. We're going to freelance. That's the reason why it's called freelance, right? Let's see. Bear with me. You can hear the church bells right next to me. Hold on a second, guys. Bear with me. You'll see what I'm doing here in a minute. That's the reason why we call it Freelance Friday. Okay, so I'm sure this will make sense to you once you see it. So bear with me, guys. Bear with me. Okay, there we go. Now, okay, for the people that just joined, I'm being quiet because the grandbabies are in the next room. This is the first time we've had them. And if they hear my voice, they're going to say, grandpa, and they'll start making noise. So I'm trying to be a little bit quiet. Turn your speakers up. I've been playing around with this thing too, but turn your speakers up, your phone up, whatever, so you can hear me. Remember, Freelance Friday, we're just going to have fun. We're going to talk about all kinds of different things. We are going to talk about some network marketing stuff. I wrote some notes down, but we're just going to have fun. Okay. And it's going to be some important stuff that you'll certainly learn, some important information, as you'll see. But that's not what we're looking for. Yeah, there we go. I wonder what that did that for. Oh, there we go. All right. Hey, looky here. I was messing around with this today. I don't know where you guys are, but I just sent, look, Please feel free. This is what I put on there. Isn't that cool? I didn't know you could do that. Please feel free to comment during the show and give me a thumbs up too. I didn't know I could do that. Isn't that cool? I'm still playing around with this thing, figuring out what I'm doing. Let's see here. Okay, now I'm going to stop playing around here. But I'm just letting you guys know, the reason I'm doing this is because I'm letting you guys know that I can do this like this. Isn't it cool? It's pretty cool, isn't it? All right. So with that being said, guys, let's talk about one of the things, this Friday, let's see here. Where am I? Yeah. Okay. This is all about just relaxing and having a good time and just with no real flow. We're just going to talk about whatever. Okay. So one of the things that the show's about is the good, the bad, and the ugly, right? And that's what we're going to do. And they're going to be the subjects that we're going to talk about that a lot of people are not going to want you to hear. There are going to be people out there who are going to be like, you know what? I can't believe they talked about that. I can't believe they revealed that to the general public. They don't even need to know that. And you know what? You do have. So we're going to talk about things that are going to piss some people off. You know what? Oh, well. But we're also going to talk about things that you're going to enjoy hearing, right? So we're going to talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly today. And there's always going to be the good, the bad, and the ugly in every one of our episodes, okay? So let's talk about the good. We all know that the good is what? That anyone can join this industry. That's the awesome thing. It doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter what your life circumstances. It doesn't matter diddly squat in regards. It doesn't matter where you came from. It doesn't matter if you don't have the ability to speak. It doesn't mean that it doesn't matter whether you have your hearing impaired. You can make this business go. I'll give you an example. When I was in Amway, there was a guy, a wonderful family, just a blessing to be around. Folks, they did not have a car. The wife, the husband, and their oldest daughter, and he was blind, and he could not drive. She didn't drive. She never had a license, and they rode the bus and built their Amway business. Could not flip and believe it. One of the nicest guys, had the most bubbly personality. He let nothing stop him. Nothing. Can you imagine getting on a bus and going and doing the presentation? If you know anything about the Amway business, you have to show a presentation. His wife showed the presentation. She loved him so much. She worshiped that guy. And man, I'm telling you, he was a stud. He took life head on. He let nothing slow him down. He had a wonderful attitude. And they built a business. I kid you not. So the thing is, it didn't matter. He never looked at it like it was an impediment to his success. That's a beautiful example of this business, the good of it, what it can do. It gave him a platform. He knew that he was limited physically. He knew that he had to do something to better his family's life because he knew he was limited where he could go in the traditional workforce. And so he knew he cared enough about his family that he was going to go outside of his comfort zone to pursue what they wanted out of life. And that was to have a better life. Now, that's pretty daggone awesome. That's good. That's a good story. That's freaking awesome. So that is what can be good about this business. It doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter if you don't have, even if you don't have the ability to speak, if you cannot hear or you can't hear well, if you have to use sign language, we've had that obviously. I remember one time one guy called me and there's a machine and he had to use the machine over the phone to talk. And that was quite an experience. But he also did a wonderful job in this business. And all of us that have the capability, all of our capabilities, and have all these wonderful tools at our fingertips, when you look at people like that, and these guys were successful, it wasn't like these guys were filly farting around. you feel kind of humble when you're around people like that. You're like, wow, that dude is on fire. I need to be more like that. And so the good part of this business is that anybody can do it. That just, as you can tell, it makes me smile because, man, there's wonderful human stories, and that's what it's about. Human stories, right? Okay, so let's see here. As you can see, I'm playing around, guys. I'm having fun here with you guys. It's Freelance Friday. We might as well. As you can see, I'm kind of playing around. I didn't know I could do this. I found it out like a half hour before the show. I was messing around. And see, I can do this. So, but I have to highlight so you guys can see it. So if you guys want to comment, go ahead. That's cool. I can reply, as you can see. All right, so back. We already talked about the good. Hey, the bad of the industry. Look, there's a lot of people out there lying to you. As you know, as you're following us in these episodes, you're seeing, I'm sure you're probably sitting down going, oh my gosh, man, I can't believe what I'm learning here. That's not what I was told. That's not what I've been taught. And you're probably either mad and kicking stuff or scratching your head and saying, what in the world is going on here? You know, you got the lying, the cheating. You say, well, how do they cheat? You know what? If they're lying to you to get in your pocket so you'll spend your money, and they know that this opportunity is not as good as they're promoting it to be, guess what? They're cheating you out of your money, out of your time. I mean, that's cheating. Okay? And if they're willing to do that, there's no telling what else is going on. So it kind of makes you a little nervous there, doesn't it? But everybody knows the lying in this industry. I mean, the lying in this world today is out of control. The lying in the industry has always been something that you had to be on your game when you were looking for a company. Which is why I teach you guys to look at the 5 things of a company. Which is why I tell you guys to do your homework, that it's your business. You can listen to the person that's trying to sponsor you. You should listen to them. But more importantly, you should do your homework. So the lying, the cheating, that's crazy. That's part of the bad. The misinformation in this industry. You know, all these success stories. Are they really success stories? You don't even know these people. Okay. And it's great to hear success stories. We all like to hear these things. It gives us hope. It gives us motivation. Gets us a little bit excited, you know, and we're always happy to see other people succeed, especially when we're pursuing the same type of goals in the same path that they have chosen. So the bottom line is, yeah, there's a lot of things to be excited about in this industry, but the lying and the cheating and the misinformation, you have got to be careful. That's the reason why we started this whole thing here. Not just the podcast, but the site and all the materials that we offer. We got tired of the misinformation. We got tired of all the lying to you guys. You guys were doomed from day one because you weren't given all the information. Number one. Number two, you guys were being misled of whether that was really an opportunity, because that company could be going out of phase 1 into phase 2. And you know what? Most of the money-making opportunity may, in fact, be disappearing. Now, as we talked about, which we'll get into another time because this is not a teaching moment, but the thing is, they're not telling you the whole truth. But it's your job to inform yourself so that you can evaluate things for yourself. And that's the reason why we came about. Because we said, look, we know this information. We can help these people. We need to get this information out. And that's the reason why we started all this material, created all this material and started these podcasts, so we could reach out across the world as quickly as possible to get this information out to you guys. Look, a lot of times you're being lied to. You're being taken advantage of. You're getting misinformation, which all leads to the fact that they're cheating you out of money that you shouldn't be spending on that particular company, and you're spending your valuable time pursuing a dream through a company that's not going to reward you with that possibility. That is lying and cheating. That is bad. That's the reason why it falls in that category, right? So we talked about the good. I gave you a couple examples of the guys who were physically impaired and they still got out there and they built businesses. There's Nina. What are you doing, girl? Anyway, the bad of the industry, just what I was talking about. You guys got to be careful. You can't totally depend on somebody else. Come to us. Go to our YouTube channel. Go to our blog. Watch the videos. Listen to the podcast. I was on our Apple podcast, and as a matter of fact, I sent a link out to all of our platforms because even though I set up the account and everything, I know very little about the iTunes podcast system and how you guys are going to access it. So I sent out a link to it so that you guys, the reason I do that is because I want you guys to have access to this information 24/7. Now, SoundCloud gets a lot of play. So does our iTunes, because SoundCloud gives me all the stats on wherever they're listening. And the SoundCloud, when I submit the podcast on there, it automatically sends it out to different platforms, and I see all the stats for all those different platforms. So there are people going to iTunes. I was very surprised there were people going to Google podcasts, which kind of surprised me. I saw that today for the first time. So the bottom line is there are people now starting to reach out because we're hitting some really serious numbers. I was showing the wife how far out we're reaching people. It's amazing in such a short time that many people are interested in this information. So people are starting to learn about us. They're starting to understand what we're about, and they're trusting us. They're saying, you know what? These guys make sense. These guys are hitting the nail on the head. These guys are presenting the information I need to know. And that is fun and exciting for us. And as you can tell, Nina's here. She's actually helping me read the notes. I don't know if you can see that down there. What are you doing, girl? She follows me everywhere, man. She just loves me to death. Good girl. All right. So the ugly. What is the ugly about the industry? Well, you know what? The reputation, the immoral tactics that are used. The reputation is something that is really, you're going to fight that negativity about the business model the whole time. There's just no way about it. You've got to know that going in, and you know what? We're all adults, and we've all overcome that. I acknowledge people when people say, well, you know, I've heard this, I've heard that. And you know how rumors are. They're rarely accurate. Okay. And my job was not to convince somebody that network marketing was for them. You got to have that same mindset. You can't sit there and try to convince somebody that this business model is for them. What I would do is when they would bring those things up, I said, you know what? I totally get it, dude. I've heard the same things. That's not what I've experienced. And if it was, I wouldn't have anything to do with it. And I just left it at that. I didn't try and defend it. I didn't try and promote it. I didn't try and endorse it. I just tell people, hey, it's meeting my needs. I've not experienced that. I understand. I know about the negative reputation. I understand how it could have gotten that. And then, you know, during the conversation, sometimes based on the length of conversation, I said, look, it's an inert entity. It doesn't do anything on its own. It was the unscrupulous people that utilize the business model, do unscrupulous things, and take advantage of people. So I totally get why it's got the reputation it has. I said, but that hasn't been my experience, and that's not how I conduct business. So that was all I did. Okay. I kept it short and sweet. And then we would change the subject and go on to another discussion because, you know, when I got family gatherings and, you know, people would say, hey, Rob, I heard you're in that network marketing thing. And, you know, I heard you're doing well, or, hey, how's it going? Whatever the case may be. I told them, I said, look, you know what? I'm very flattered that you asked, and hey, I'm doing really well. Thank you for asking. I said, but you know what? We're at a family reunion here. We're at a family gathering. And to be honest with you, I really don't want to talk shop. I just want to relax and spend quality time with you guys. But I appreciate you asking, you know, and I would leave it at that. But I was being sincere. You know, when I'm around family, I want to focus on them, and I want to focus on the moment, and I want to enjoy that. I don't want to talk shop. I'm not going there to recruit anybody. I'm not going there to promote my business. I'm just going there to have a good time, just be a part of life. I have enough of that stuff when I'm in the business building mode. But when I'm around friends and family and they're asking me out for a beer or out for dinner, I am not going to blindside them talking about my business. I'm not going to tell them about the success I'm having. I'm just, you know what? I'm Rob. I'm not going to do that. You shouldn't either. But the ugly part of the business, as I said, is the reputation, the immoral tactics that took place that gave it this reputation. That's the ugly part of it. And that's the part you're going to have to deal with, whether you like it or not. I mean, that's just the way it goes. And unfortunately, you're going to have to work your way around it. And hopefully that statement I just gave you, please go back and rewind it in the video, take notes on that so you can use that yourself. You don't have to worry about it. You can not even answer it if you don't want to. The thing is, you have to decide if this business model is going to give you what you want. And if you do decide to go into it, you're just going to have to be prepared to defend nothing and just stand up and say, I would rather not talk about that right now. Your job is not to defend the business model. Your job is just to enjoy family and friends and leave it at that, right? So that's the ugly. The good, some great, this business model is for everybody. There's some great stories of people of all different walks of life that have utilized this business model and made an impact on their lives. That's awesome. That's one of the good things about this industry. That's one of the things I love about it. As long as you're 18 years old and older, I could tell you some stories of older gentlemen that are been older people. And I hate using the term older because I'm not far from that myself. But the thing is that they're certainly not young. And I can tell you, and I will in future episodes, I'll tell you about these wonderful success stories of these elderly people that came into this business. And you think, why in the world would they do that at this time? I know some stories where some of these elderly people, like one gentleman, his wife passed away. This guy had more money than you can imagine. And I didn't sponsor him, but I was good friends with the guy that did. And he told me, he said, Rob, he had been around the business model before and he loved the people. He said, look, I don't care about the money. If I make money, that's great. He said, it gives me something to do. It gets my mind off of things. I know how the business works. And if I make money in the process, that's great. And he went out there and sure enough, that's a great story, right? So it doesn't matter the age. It doesn't matter the circumstances. As I've told you, I've sponsored millionaires, multimillionaires. Okay, I sponsored what many people would consider very highly successful people. Okay, and they were, doctors, lawyers. I could go on and on and on. I'm trying to think of all the different professions. But the thing is that, it's for everybody. And that's the beauty of it. That's the good part, right? The bad part is that you're being lied to and you're given misinformation, right? And I know you guys experience that. You know what I'm talking about. You're frustrated. You're aggravated. You can't believe they lied to you like that. If somebody has to lie to you to get you to join something, don't you think they're hiding something? Don't you think they don't feel comfortable in what they're doing? And they're trying to cover it up by giving you misinformation? And what if they're not trying to lie to you? What if they're giving you misinformation and they think that information is correct because that's who their leader told them this information. They had no reason to doubt it. They had no reason to second guess it. So now they're passing that misinformation on to you. That's how the bad business practices get passed through the business model and perpetuated over and over. You talk about duplication. The bad duplicates faster than the good. So the misinformation you guys are getting, it's a wonder anybody succeeds in this business model. It's no wonder that people get so frustrated with it, right? But guess what? You're here. You understand. And so the thing is that you now have the ability at your fingertips to listen to information that'll help you get past all that bull crap. The ugly is the reputation. And there, we've already talked about that. So since we've done that, let me go back here. Once again, bear with me, guys. I'm just having some fun here. Let's see here. Let's see. Yeah, here. There we go. How's that? Like, if you guys just joined, I just found out how you get comment. I think that's pretty cool. So evidently I comment, it goes out to the platforms and you guys comment back. If you don't mind, somebody just say, hey, just say hi, just so I can see it come over here. That'd be cool. So anyway, let me tell you a little bit about myself, okay, as a person, as well as my networking journey a little bit, because I've never taken the time to tell you a little bit about myself. And hopefully you guys can tell me something about yourselves down the road as well. So I'll make it short. We're not going to keep this thing dragging on. But here's the thing. I was born in Louisville, Kentucky, and I was born in 57. Yes, that was an actual year. Fred Flintstone was my neighbor. That's how old I am. So, And my kids used to play with Bam Bam and Pebbles. So anyway, I was born in Louisville, Kentucky, with great parents. I have no sob story. I've been so blessed. As I look back over my life, I've had the right parents for me. Okay. And my family, for the most part, on my dad's side, were military, most of them. And then I ended up going to the military myself in 1975. Yes, that long ago, 1975. It's hard to believe. I went in 1975, tail end of Vietnam. I did not go to Vietnam, but I was there at the tail end with all the drawdown and everything. And, we were involved in that drawdown process. And I'm qualified as a Vietnam vet, believe it or not, even though I never set foot in the country of Vietnam. And that was quite an experience, working and getting to know all the guys that came back from Vietnam. It was something else. You hated to see the damage that war did. Anyway, I was there in the military, a great experience. It changed my life. I was out of control. I always tell people, which I'm not proud to say, and I kind of hesitate to say it because really it's not something that I care to talk about. But, I always tell people my dad should have shot me and buried me in the backyard. I was a terrible, terrible kid. It was not good. I should honestly have been in jail. There is no doubt about it. The things that I did and got away with was just not it was not going down the right path. We had our first child at 16. So that means that she was pregnant at 15. So if that gives you a small indication, and that's a small indication. And once again, I'm not proud of this. I made me snickering because right now, but it's only because I just still shake my head in disbelief. But we were together for 17 years. We truly loved each other. And you don't stay together for 17 years if you're not in love. And we had a great time together. I have nothing bad. It came to an end. And I have nothing bad to say. We had 2 wonderful kids out of it. We did all kinds of things as a family. We were in the military. We traveled everywhere. And almost every weekend, we were either with friends or we were traveling from one end of the state to the other. We were constantly on the go, experiencing life. And my daughters, as they got older, said, "Thank you, Dad, so much for taking us on those journeys and for being in the military," because they realized all the wonderful things that we got to do. So, the military certainly straightened me out. Is exactly what I needed. And I'm glad that I went through that. It literally changed my life. And I became a Christian while I was in the military, which had a profound effect on me as well. So between those two, it really changed my life and turned it around. And I certainly have had a wonderful life as a whole. But I got out, I retired in 97, which was 21 years based on the military's, how they add up the time. I was 21 years and 9 months or 10 months. I can't remember. It was just short of 22 years of active duty. So I retired in 97. And I have 2 daughters. I now have 7 grandkids. And when I retired, I was in North Dakota and decided, and my fiance at the time said, "Where do you want to go?" And I really never thought about coming back to Louisville because I really didn't know my family. You got to realize I left when I was 17. And even when I was there, I wasn't around my siblings. And I wasn't around my parents all that much. So I really didn't know who my family was. I had no emotional tie to the city. I had no emotional tie to my family. And so coming back to Louisville, Kentucky was the last thing on my mind. But she loved it here, my ex-fiance. Matter of fact, she's still here. And she's from LA. So it just goes to show, you never know how life's going to go, right? I never thought I would come back to Louisville, Kentucky, but I'm so glad I did. It's a wonderful place to live. And the leadership has done a wonderful job turning this place around. Because when I lived in 75, it was a terrible, rundown typical Midwest production city. It was dirty, dingy, no life to it at all. So anyway, how did I run into network marketing? One of the young men that worked for me was in Amway and did a wonderful job bringing up. And before that, there was only one other time. As I look back, I had never been exposed to network marketing before. I didn't even know what it was. But there was one other time when I was in Texas that there was a young man that was trying to talk to me about Amway. And I really didn't get it. I didn't grasp it. But I don't think he did a very good job. I think it was new. Didn't do a very good job of explaining it. Anyway, it wasn't until I got to California that one of the young men that worked for me had brought up in a wonderful way. It was really an experience. We're brothers to this day, him and I. And he built a wonderful Amway business, a large, thriving, growing, and profitable business. And I was very impressed by that. And he was a go-getter. And at that time, he was in Special Forces. And as we built the business, we were around, believe it or not, a lot of Navy SEALs. We used to go down to San Diego and we hung out down there, but there was a lot of Navy SEALs. And matter of fact, I met many Special Forces guys in the Amway business, believe it or not, of all different services. And those guys were go-getters. So this young man was part of that. And like I said, he did a wonderful job explaining to me where I got it. And dots connected. Went to an event because I was very introverted, very quiet, very reserved, believe it or not, despite my childhood. And so the bottom line is that I went to, I don't know what they call it, an Amway event or whatever. I mean, there was 300-400 people there. You got to realize I ran into Amway when the network marketing business in general was exploding. The industry itself, I mean, all the companies, Nu Skin, Amway, Mary Kay, all of them were experiencing tremendous growth. And so I ended up going to an Amway meeting with him and was very impressed. And a lot of good, high quality people. Despite what people say, I've never had a bad experience. It was one of the best experiences, business-wise, personal-wise, everything else. I have nothing bad to say. Great products, fair comp plan at the time. It was hard work. I know it had a reputation, and like anything else, there were some unscrupulous people in the Amway business. Amway really worked hard on monitoring that and kicking those kind of people out. I know that they did that for a fact. But at the same time, there were different ways to build the Amway business, and some of those ways were not what I consider to be ethical, and was borderline unethical. For instance, one of the ways of one organization, you got to realize there were so many organizations. Like there's Dexter Yeager's organization, and then you had Bill Britt, who was sponsored by Dexter Yeager, and then Bill started his organization called the Britt Organization, which is one of the biggest ones around in Amway. And then Ron Pereira started Worldwide Dream Builders, and I was a part of the Worldwide Dream Builders Ron Pereira organization, which was a part of Bill Britt organization, which was a part of Dexter Yeager organization. So really wonderful people all the way through. I hung around, the Radcliffes in Baker, Glenn Baker, the Duncans. Man, I could see their faces. Jimmy Head. Man, I could just go on and on and on. But I was exposed to a lot of great people, wonderful people, and learned a lot about myself, first and foremost, and then learned a lot about the industry. I really didn't start to blossom in regards to a business builder. I had a great experience in the Amway business, but I realized that the money was gone for the most part at that time. In other words, it was going to take me 5 to 6 years to build the income I wanted, and that wasn't going to work for me. Okay, I was getting closer to military retirement, And that wasn't going to work for me. I needed to make money quick. And it wasn't because I was in a dire situation. It was because my retirement was coming up, and I wanted to be able to transition from military retirement into a business, not a growing business, not going to the corporate world. And nothing against corporate world. I just had no desire. I was tired. Look, in your military, you're told where to go, what to say, what to wear, how to do this, how to do that. I mean, you were monitored all the time. Well, the corporate world is similar to that, not to that extreme, but I didn't want to go back in. I didn't want to go in an environment like that again. I wanted to be able to breathe. I wanted to be able to spread my wings and do what I want when I wanted. So the business world was the way to go. And I didn't want to dump my money into a franchise at that time. And my brother and I, it was his business. I helped my brother get his business going while we were in the military, but it was his business, not mine. So the network marketing business model came around at the right time. I saw real potential in it. But I had a lot of personal growth to go through because I was very introverted, very quiet. And anyway, that started my journey. I was with 5 companies, if I remember right. I may be missing 1 or 2. 2 of those 5 went out of business. In other words, the paychecks just stopped overnight. And I've been a part of a breakaway pay plan. I've been part of a straight up binary. I've been part of a hybrid, what they call hybrid back then, binary. I forget the other pay plans I've been a part of. Nu Skin. I forget the pay plan they had. Nu Skin was a great experience. That really, I started doing really well when I was with Nu Skin, and then moved on. I can't remember all the companies. I really can't. You would think I would be able to, but it's irrelevant. The bottom line is I was only with 5 companies. I didn't want to jump around. I wanted to be with one company and grow with that company and really take it to the next level. And eventually, through persistence, was able to make that happen. And I'm glad that I did. But the bottom line is it was a long journey. I was in the industry for a long time. I keep my cars for a long time, if it gives you an indication. My Lexus had almost 300,000 miles on it. And my Audi now has almost 200,000. So that just goes to show how long I hold on to stuff. And, I stayed married a long time. First time I was married for 17 years. And now the wife and I have been together for 15, I think. And so it just goes to show that I'm all about longevity. And once I stick to something, I stick to it. But I would have stuck with Amway. I enjoyed that. And that was one of the greatest experiences I ever had. But the thing is that I was there to make money. And as much as I admired the company and still do, the money wasn't there, not the type that I needed. I was going to make money eventually, but it was going to take a long time. And I just wasn't willing to do that. And the step away comp plan was tougher than most, very stable comp plan, a profitable comp plan to some degree. But it did have its faults. So that was hard there because you really had to have staying power. Okay. You weren't going to make a lot of money in your first 6 months, 8 months. You had to see down the road, and then the money would start showing up. And through a long work ethic, you would almost have to give it 2 years in order for it to really start producing. Well, that just wasn't in the books for me. I wasn't out for the quick buck, but I was out for the quicker buck. Right. So there you go. That's a little bit about me. I have two other brothers and a sister. Everyone is alive and living in Louisville, Kentucky. My dad passed away, 16, I think it's going on 17 years now. That's hard to believe. And heck of a guy. He was a perfect dad for me. And my stepmom and my mom are both alive. And I'm grateful for that, and healthy. And I'm grateful for that. And everybody in my family is healthy. We're good, hearty people. We are very blessed. We say our blessings every day. My youngest grandson, I have 4, One, two, three. Sorry. I have 4 granddaughters, and I did just have 1 grandson, but now the other 2 grandbabies are boys, obviously. So I have 3 now boys. I have 7 grandchildren total, and my oldest grandson is in the Marine boot camp right now. He graduates April 2nd. Very proud of him. Going to the Marines is not an easy thing. So that's me. That's who I am. That's who you're following. I've been fortunate in the networking industry to be exposed to some of the greatest professional business builders out there. They taught me a lot. I learned a lot on my own. I massaged some things that they taught me and made them better, believe it or not. I can say that because of the results I got. And the thing is that all the things that I learned were the basics of the industry. And they have stuck with me ever since, and I'm very grateful for that. And that's what I share with you guys. That's the reason why I do what I do, is because I wanted to get this information out to you. I saw the impact it had on me, and I know the impact it can have on you. And when I see the industry out there, struggling to find the next level leaders, and people say, well, Rob, you know what? What's the status of the industry? You know what the status of the industry is? It's looking for the next Bill Bretts, the next Dexter Yeagers, the next Ron Pereiras, the Seth Smiths, the Tim Sales, and the Richard Calls. Some of the greatest business builders of all time came out of those times in the 80s. And the industry is what it is today because of people like that. And the industry has been kind of stagnant. Even we need new companies. We need more Amway corporations. We need more Nu Skin corporations. We need these great success stories. And so, that's something I want to help the next wave of leaders to come in and make things happen and to help this industry and improve the reputation. And you can do that by telling the truth, by teaching the truth, by teaching the basics and letting the cream rise to the top. Some of you are going to get it. Some of them you aren't. I mean, some of you are going to understand. Some of you are not. Some of you will take advantage of what I'm saying. Some of you will not. And that's okay. That's life. That's the way it is. But my job is the messenger, to let you guys know this business model works. If you do it right, you can change your life. If you do it right, you commit it, you stay focused, let you know that you're going to have challenges, but you got to fight through them just the way it is. And if you have fortitude, if you have foresight, if you have commitment and dedication, I'd be honest with you, if you use the things we teach you, there's no reason that you can't have not just success, but really good, solid, big success, if not legendary type success. So, to build a legendary type business, guys, you have to be at the right place at the right time. There are a lot of dynamics that have to come together to make that happen. But the thing is that you won't know unless you put yourself in that position. And how do you do that? By doing what we're teaching you. If you do that and you're with the right company, you could provide yourself in a position sooner rather than later that you could be recognized as one of the legendary business builders of all time. But I'm hoping that the industry will have some new blood in it, not only leadership-wise, but like guys yourself, guys and girls. And when I say guys, I mean everybody, but I guess I am kind of at fault for not identifying the guys and the girls, and I apologize for that. But the thing is that it really, the industry is waiting for the next level of leaders. And, I don't know, if you work the numbers of network marketing, you can go into an older company and develop a really nice income. And whether that's for you or not, you're going to have to decide. Because look, not everybody wants to build a huge business. Some people just want a stable income. Some people just say, you know what, I'm willing to go into an old company and develop $100,000 a year income, and I'll be perfectly happy with that. Okay. And that's great. If that's what you're wanting, if you want to pursue that, that is a real possibility with the older companies, and you would have nothing to be ashamed of. I think Nu Skin's a great opportunity. I still think Amway is. I like Nu Skin's pay plan better. I like their line of products much better. That's not saying that Amway's products aren't great. They are. But what I'm saying is there's a lot more contemporary and a lot more exciting products to pick from with Nu Skin than Amway, although I know Amway has evolved and they have more products than anybody. But the thing is that if I was to come into the industry and look at older companies, Nu Skin would certainly be one of the ones that I would look at. But that's not saying anything bad about the other ones. Shaklee's been around a long time. Metallica's been around a long time. Herbalife's been around a long time. There's reasons why those companies are still around. There's reasons why they are giants of the industry. Okay, whether that's for you or not is another matter. But there's a whole lot worse. If you could choose one of those, that would be an awesome thing. But the thing is that you're just going to have to realize, guys, that it's all going to boil down to what you want out of life. That you got to sit down and say, this is the lifestyle, because really that's what it's about. It's all going to be about what you want from this business model. You can say, well, I want $1,500 extra a month. Well, how's it going to affect your lifestyle, right? Is that money for investment? Is all $1,500 that going to go in investing? Is that $1,500 going to go into an education fund for your children? Is that $1,500 going to help pay for something else? Or is that $1,500 you're going to use to build an emergency fund or to pay off your house? It all boils down to how that money is going to impact your lifestyle. And you're going to have to decide what you're going to do with that money, and that'll tell you. Because look, if you say, okay, I'm going to use this money to pay off the house or to invest in the kids' education, and I'm going to put it all in there, well, that $1,500 is gone, and it hasn't affected your lifestyle. Yes, it's going to make a big difference in the family as a whole because you're paying off the house, you're investing in your kids' future, but it really doesn't affect your current lifestyle. So if you say, well, not only do I want to do that, I want to put the $1,500 into the house or whatever, the kids' education, whatever it is you choose, you might sit down and say, but additionally, I want another $1,500 for a total of $3,000 extra a month, so that we can build up a nice savings so that I can cut back on the 14-hour days that I'm working. Okay, now you're starting to affect the lifestyle. So my point is that when you're looking at a company, and I've taught you a new company has to have the 5 things in order to be in a situation where they could do something special. The older companies already proven they have those 5 things. That's the reason why they're there. But the thing is that, and remind me someday to tell you guys about the Nu Skin story, the company itself, an amazing story. I'll tell you guys about that in one of our Freelance Fridays. Very interesting story. But anyway, you guys are going to have to decide, what it is you want this business model to do for you. And that'll tell you when you say, I want that freedom lifestyle, or I just want to be able to quit working 14-hour days. If I can make an extra $300 to $500 a month, that would make me where I don't have to work overtime all the time. That is a lifestyle change. Okay. And that tells you what, when you sit down and determine what kind of lifestyle you want, then you're going to be able to go and look and, build your business backwards. In other words, backwards engineer, whatever you want to call it. What you're going to do. You can say, okay, I would need $300 to $500 a month. You know what? I'm going to build my business to where it's only going to do that. And then I'm good to go, and I'll maintain that for a year or whatever, and I'll be good to go. And, I may step away. I may go to another level. Don't know. So there again, it's all your lifestyle is going to determine what you're going to do, and it'll help you decide whether you want to go with an older company or a newer company. And that's something that you're going to have to make that decision on. But at least now you know who I am. You know what makes me who I am. You know where I came from, where I've been. You know a little bit about my family. And I'm really tickled to be able to share that with you. I don't do that very often, but you know what? I want you guys to realize who it is that you're watching and you're learning from. And additionally, you know what? As always, please comment. Let me know about yourself. Let me know your story. Let me know where you're from. I'd love to, on comments, tell me where you're from, like right now, tell me where you're from, right? That way we can learn about each other. And that's awesome. That's awesome. So please, in the future, comment during the show. Feel free. It helps me connect with you guys. It helps me understand who my audience is. It helps me to grow a bond with you guys instead of just these sterile numbers that I see on the screen. And you guys get to see me all the time. That's not fair. And on the virus, as we close, I hope everybody's taking care of themselves. I will say this. I'm not the type to get caught up into overhyped stuff. But at the same time, I'm not stupid, right? The wife and I have put hand sanitizer bottles about this big in each one of the cars. And anytime we go anywhere, as soon as we get in the car, we do our hands, I do my face, and then I do the steering wheel. We have, as you know, 7-month-old grandbabies that we cannot afford for them to get this. We do take it serious. We are not locked up into our house. Okay. We still get out and do our normal stuff. We have not bought 22 cases of toilet paper or 20 cases of water. We have not hoarded anything. And I'm not saying, and I'm not laughing at the people that do, not at all. Everybody's got their own level of comfort and their own level of security. So don't take it that way. What I'm saying is I want you guys to be safe. I want you guys to use level head. That's what we're doing. We're just maintaining a level head. And you didn't realize we're in our early 60s, and I've had some health challenges. And so is the wife. We're certainly not falling apart, but we are getting older, and we are susceptible to things. And they said that anybody over 60 could be. And I've had pneumonia and other issues with my lungs and things like that. So I believe you me, I am very cautious. But the wife and I are not going over the top. We're being smart that we're limiting our exposure to people. And what I mean by that is that we were walking. We went to a store, the retail store, the other day, and we were getting ready to walk down this aisle, and this gentleman started coughing and hacking. And then the wife turned over to me and she goes, "We ain't going down this aisle." And I said, "I agree." So we went down 2 other aisles. Well, you know what? That's smart. Okay, that's smart. We don't know whether that was what that cough was from. It could be a smoking cough for all we know. But you know what? You can't take that chance, right? So we are being smart about it. We're not being crazy. We're not being over the top. We realize the seriousness of the situation. We realize that we have to be diligent and pay attention. So we are doing our sanitizer. We are limiting our exposure to other people. We still get out and about. We're not going to be stupid and lock ourselves up in our house. But at the same time, we're going to be cautious. And I hope that you guys do the same. I don't want any of you to go through anything you don't need to. I hope that and pray that you guys will come out of this like us. It's the same way you went in, and that is healthy and alive and functioning. And it will pass. There's no doubt about it. These things always do. And I hope it's sooner rather than later. And I hope that during this time, when everybody is being diligent and smart, I think the NBA and all of them are doing the right thing. I can't believe I'm saying that because I don't believe in living in fear. But here's the thing, is there's no doubt that a large gathering of people with this particular virus that seems to be more contagious than others, I think it's smart and diligent to say, hey, and think about it, look at the money they're giving up. So we always blame corporations for being greedy, but you know what? They are putting the public safety at the forefront. And I think that's admirable. You know what? I give them a thumbs up, and thank you guys for giving me a thumbs up there. I really appreciate that. But I'm glad to see that corporations are stepping back and saying, we need to think about the overall health of our people. And that's really awesome. I will say that here in the city of Louisville, we have a lot of major international companies here. And I will say that a lot of them have closed down. And I don't mean like shut their doors. They've told their people to work from home. And that's what they're doing. And once again, I think that's smart, because you're in these buildings that are closed up because of the cold, and the filtration system can't protect you from everything. And we've already had one lady who was infected with the virus, did not know it, and was going to work at a large international company here. And her husband worked at another large, prestigious international company here, and he was infected and did not know it. And they were going into these buildings. So once they realized, these two who worked at two different locations downtown for two different companies, once they learned that these two had that, both companies said, that's it, we're closing this thing down, and we're going to have the cleaning staff clean the whole building inside and out, and everybody's going to work from home. And that's what they're doing. So I think that's smart. I think that's really smart, because I think it could get much worse if we didn't. And I think people are being smart about it, and that it makes me feel good about it. And I hope you guys are doing the same thing. Just be smart. Don't overreact. Don't stress yourself out. Get sleep, because that affects your immune system. Use a good level-headed approach. Make sure you carry in your pants or your purse hand sanitizers. I do put it on my face, especially around my nose and my mouth, because we all kind of, like you see me do every once in a while because of the goofy cat here. But anyway, the point is that when I'm out and about, if I do it without realizing it, I make sure that when I get in the car, I immediately do that. I bring that up. Maybe that'll work for you guys as well. And then when I have my arms exposed, I'll do this as well, because I don't know how far up it can go. But I'll do it twice. I don't do just one. I'll do the first one, try to be as thorough as I can, and then I'll do a second one and go over the exact same spots and make sure that I cover it all. I've been wearing long sleeves, and so I only do my hands at that time, but I just share those little insights with you guys while we're sitting here having a freelance Friday, right? Because this is serious stuff. And we talk business all the time. It doesn't hurt to get to know one another, share this with one another, and enjoy our fellow human beings, right? All right, guys, I'm off here. I didn't expect to take this long. You guys have been awesome as always. Again, I'm flattered by the numbers I see. I showed the wife, and she was blown away by the numbers, because I always tell her, but she never looks. She don't care. She's like, yeah, that's your gig, whatever. Just make sure the money's in the account. And so the thing is that she could care less. But, I was so proud of you guys and so blown away by the response that I said, look. I said, that's awesome. She goes, well, that's pretty impressive. And that's all I could get out of her. That's pretty impressive. So you guys have done wonderful. I'm so thankful. I really am that you guys are willing to listen to me talk. But at least it's about stuff you need to know, right? At least I'm not just rambling around doing nothing and wasting your all's time. Okay, you know what? Go to the, I don't know if you guys know, I'm putting out the links to all the platforms and all the postings, so you guys have easy access to all the various platforms and the information. I will say that SoundCloud and iTunes are doing wonderful. YouTube is doing wonderful. You guys will continue. Remember, all the videos are on YouTube. If you guys need to go back. Down the road, we're going to be really making some changes, as you know, so that's going to be coming down the road. Please share, like, do all the things as we as fellow human beings do when we enjoy something, and that is word of mouth. Just help us get this out, help us meet with other people, or meet other people's needs. That's what I meant to say. I had it backwards, didn't I? Yeah, I'm getting old. So anyway, if you guys will just share everything that we're doing, let's get this word out to everybody. I really want to see a resurgence in the network marketing industry. I want you guys to be the leaders of that resurgence. I know if you master the basics, I tell you that all the time, you guys have an unlimited future. It would be great to be able to see that. It would be great to be a part of that. And the only way I can be a part of that is by sharing my knowledge, my experiences with you guys, and allowing it to grow where it may. So I want you guys to have a wonderful life. I want you guys, it's an amazing life when you can live that kind of lifestyle, and you can do it in this business model. I tell you that all the time. I tell you that because it's true. I tell you that because I want to motivate you. I tell you that because I want you to achieve it. I tell you that because I want you to live it. I want you to experience it. And then I want you to pass it on to others like I've done. You got to share. You got to pass it on. And I did not want to go to my grave with all this knowledge and not share it and have an impact on other people. So with that, remember, Monday, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm going to stick with 11 for right now as I close, and this is it. We talked about going to noontime because we're trying to meet the needs of the time frame for all the people across the world. The thing is, with all the different platforms we have, you guys can access this information 24/7. But we're trying to make it where the live broadcasts can be to a lot of people, because some people don't at nighttime have the chance to access this information even on the platforms. So we're going to stick with 11 a.m. for right now. We're going to continue to monitor to see if we need to make adjustments. We always want your input. Please, as we go forward, if you will, guys, please be active. Please post on the program, because we want, as you can see, we want to be able to interact with you guys. We want to be able to share with each other. We want to develop a bond, develop a community, if you will. We want to be able to have fun with this thing. And part of the developing that bond and having fun is to be able to communicate with one another. This is kind of primitive, but at least we can do it. And I just found it today. I found a new toy. So you'll see me doing this. Please, as we go forward, if you have a chance, please comment in the future. God bless. Have a great weekend. Be safe. We'll see you Monday, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Talk to you later. God bless you guys. Love you.